Good morning. I am Steve Weber. Welcome to the American Gumption Morning Show being broadcast here on Spirituality Gone Wild. Welcome to February, Monday, February 1st, 2021. And I've got my warm clothes on because I'm back in the East, and we're about 24 hours into a major snowstorm, and it's supposed to last another 24 hours. So not a whole lot of snow on the ground, about 4 inches, and it's kind of an icy crust. It was kind of sleeting overnight. So it's a mess, and it's supposed to snow, they say, another 6, 8, 10 inches in the next 24 hours. So we'll see what happens. I always feel like living back East that, it's a little bit, the weather people are like Lucy holding the football, and all of us people are Charlie Brown running up, ready to kick the football. And then the weather never quite turns out the way they forecast. But anyway, that's that. All right. So again, welcome Monday, February 1st. Here we go. So two guests today, Serenity Sam coming up after the monologue, and we're going to talk about 30 minutes. We're going to talk about the big dream reveal. And I was on Serenity Sam's show on Saturday as a guest, and I shared my big dream, and she shared her big dream. And so I've done a replay of both of the big dreams. I'll play those back, and I'll have Serenity Sam join us, and we'll just both respond to our dreams and talk a little bit about that. And then in the last 15 minutes, Joan of Angels joins us for the monthly Miracle Angels and Gumption segment. So that's coming up at about 45 past the hour, the last 15 minutes of the show. So that's what's in plan. Now I do have my monologue, and it's going to be a continuation of what I did on Friday, the report card, the 6-month report card. And one of the things that sort of has happened the last couple of weeks is I end up doing a monologue sometime during the week, and then I write about the monologue and use it for my weekly update. Go to americangumption.com and sign up for the Gump Date. The Gump Date is like a update only with Gump styling to it. And so anyway, that comes out on Sundays. And so I wrote about the 6-month report card, and I want to just share a little bit more. I'm going to actually just share the grades. So I'm going to go through the actual, I have a visual, I have a little slide presentation, and I'll actually show each category and each grade in just a sentence or two about it. Last Friday, I did a longer monologue and talked about all the details. So you can go back and listen to that show. Friday, January 29th, show 117, and then this will just be a short version of that, kind of the grade portion. So with a presentation, some visuals added in. All righty. So that's what's happening. Now, let me tell you about what's happening the rest of the week, and then I'll get into the monologue, and then we'll welcome Serenity Sam and Joan of Angels at the end of the day's show. So tomorrow, Tuesday, Angie LaRue returns, and Angie started her story 2 weeks ago on the show, and she was minding her own business living in Hawaii when she fell down into a spiritual 2x4 whacking her over the head. And so she shared the beginning of that story. We'll do a brief little recap of that, and then we'll continue on with that and get into what she's really doing today. So that's coming up tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, Nikki Roscoe returns one more time to the American Gumption Morning Show, and she's going to talk about mostly a health session, health and fitness segment on Wednesday, and talk about some of the work she did, years ago, and then what she's doing today and that whole thing. So we'll welcome Nikki is a good friend of the show, and we'll welcome her back on Wednesday. And then Malika Paranosik is going to join us on Thursday, and she is she came from the old Yugoslavia. I forget which country she's from, but I'll know that here coming up. But anyway, she's came over as a young lady, young woman, and ended up continuing her musical career, studying in New York City, and she is a composer. And so she's going to share some of her, the music and the art and the work that she's doing. So that'll be on Thursday. And then Friday, I'm planning to do a live show, but I don't have a guest scheduled at this point. So that is what is happening in the next couple of days. So now let's go ahead and I'll do a screen share, and I'll get into my American Gumption my American Gumption report card for the first 6 months. Alrighty, here we go. So my overall grade, this is all I'm going to do is just give a little short description of it and show you the grade. So the overall grade for my first 6 months performance is a B. And, I think that's a fair grade. And the reason why I gave myself a B, it's kind of the average of what the subcategories, and I'm going to get into 4 subcategories. And then one of those subcategories has 4 more subcategories in that. So there's a total of 8 different grades I'm going to share with you and show you and talk about. And so anyway, the overall grade is a B. It's kind of an average of what the other grades are. I got a couple A's, a couple C's, and a couple B's. And so it just feels like a good grade because I feel like I've done a pretty good job with the whole show and everything all considered, but there's room for improvement. So I didn't want to necessarily give myself an A thinking that, I had overachieved because that wasn't the case. But I certainly, if C would have been an average performance, I did better than average. So there as it is. All right. Now the next, let's see here. There we go. The guest. This is really more a reflection on how I handled the guests than the quality of the guests themselves. And so I'm giving myself a B. And basically what I've learned, I guess I learned really 2 things: what type of guests I'd like to have on the show, and what type of conversations I want to have, and then the actual interviewing process. How do you let the guest go and give their version of the story? Let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, there you go. I can move over here a little bit and I can put the guest up there. I'll do it this way. So the guest, it's really a reflection on me and how I've handled them. So that conversation that I have is evolving, and I'm still learning a lot, and there's definitely room for improvement. But overall, I've had a fun time doing it. I think I've done a pretty good job of letting people speak and letting them shine and asking conversational questions that keep the flow of the interview rolling forward. Now, let's see, I'm still getting, there we go. The monologues, A- is what I'm giving myself. So the monologues are interesting. The first 2 months of the show, I really did just, I did all the safe stuff. I did all the Gump things. I did the life lessons from the movie. I did Gumption. And that was actually important to lay all that stuff down. But then about in the 3rd month, maybe somewhere 4th month, I remember one day, and I don't remember exactly, I have to go back and think about when it exactly happened, but it seems like there was one particular guest, and I said, I'm going to write a, kind of a fresh monologue for this particular guest. And it wasn't like I was writing brand new ideas, but what I was doing was I was taking ideas that I had, but I hadn't really expressed, and talked about publicly on a regular basis. So those first couple of months of the show, I was just doing all the all the Gump stuff and all the, Gumption things. And it was things I was very comfortable talking about. They were safe. And then I started, like I said, that one day I went, I want to do something a little different. And so since then, I've pretty much mostly done, stretched myself. And so I'm learning to articulate and expand my idea. So I'm very happy with the monologues, the way that part has progressed. All right. Technology is the actual working of the equipment and the show itself. And so the first 2 months there were, first month especially, but let's just call it the first 2 months, there were a lot of rookie mistakes and a lot of learning. And I've compared it to driving a car where you just need to pay attention to 4 or 5 or 6 things simultaneously. And until you train your body to know where the controls are and how to hit them without having to think too much about them, it feels a little bit distracting and a little bit like you're always trying to pay attention to several things at once. And so anyway, the first couple months weren't great, but they were okay. And I got through that whole thing. And since then it's kind of smoothed down and it works pretty good. And I did add a Ethernet cable to hardwire the computer 100 feet away to the router. And so anyway, that works a lot better, having a more solid connection. And my computer, I've learned how to, do a restart about 15 minutes before the show, close everything down, don't open up anything that's not necessary to do the broadcast. And when I do have extra slides or extra things that are going on, it taxes the whole system a little bit. So that's, I'm aware of that, and it's not an ideal, perfect situation, but we do the best you can with it. All righty, technology, overall production. Now, this is the category that I give an overall production score, and then I'm going to go in the 4 subcategories of the production portion. So overall, I'm giving myself a B- for production, and then specifically pre-production. And the pre-production is really getting ready for the show itself, kind of like, scheduling the guest and scheduling the show itself to be broadcast so that it's going to show up on Facebook and YouTube, and then creating the marketing materials that go along with that. And so anyway, I've done all the necessary things that are done, but there's room for improvement there for sure. But I think I've done a pretty consistent, good job with it. So I gave myself a pretty good grade for that. The preparation is actually the usually what I'm calling the morning of the show, and that's where I create all my little scripts here and have my notes, and here's the main script for the show. And so I kind of follow this routine and have the monologue, and then the guest, and what am I going to talk about in the monologue? What am I going to talk about with the guest? What's the introduction for the guest? All of that stuff is the preparation. There, I've done a very good job, and have enjoyed doing all of that. Now, post-production is like what happens immediately after the show, and I started a couple different times trying to do more post-production, but basically I just settled into making sure that I have the proper links for all of the YouTube and Facebook pages where these shows exist forever. People can watch them. And I also have backup copies on a hard drive and also in the cloud on Amazon S3. So that's really all the post-production I've done. I did start for a while actually editing the shows and bringing out, different pieces of it, but I didn't feel good about the way that process was working. And so I abandoned it, and I've got new ideas on how to reconnect with that. So definitely room, I've done the minimum, or I've done an average job with it, but I certainly haven't excelled in that area. And then the marketing, very closely related to that, is how can I grow this audience, and how can I share more mini segments with it? So this post-production editing really will allow the marketing part to grow. Marketing's been, basically at a minimum in terms of just making sure that it gets announced that the show's going on there. So that's it. Overall grade is I'm giving myself a B. And, interestingly, but not surprisingly, is the fact that, the things I got an A, I gave myself an A on, are things I like doing. And I like that part. And the things I got a C on are the things that I'm not so happy about, or not so enthusiastic about doing, or just don't have clarity about, what exactly I'm supposed to be doing with those things. So definitely an opportunity to improve those things. Long term, hope to add enough some people who can come along and help me with that and make that all go possible and smooth myself out. So anyway, that's it for the grades. I want to shift gears now, and I want to bring our guest, Serenity Sam, on the show. I see she is now safely arrived in the green room. Hopefully she's been enjoying some of the snacks that we have back there. It's Monday, so they might have been leftover things from the last week. I hope they were fresh. I don't know what's going on back there, but we'll go ahead and welcome Sam onto the show. Let's see. There we go. Hello, Serenity Sam.
Hi.
Welcome back to the American
Yum. I really like the purple M&Ms. Just thanks.
Oh, good. I was afraid that somebody came in over the weekend and ate all the purple M&Ms, and because that's your favorite color.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Well, good. Well, welcome back to the show. You were here on December 17th, the first time. That was show number 93. Today is show 118. So welcome back to the show. We won't be able to play your first time guest theme because you've already you had that the first time around. But let me just read the bio, and then we'll just jump into our conversation, because we're gonna, I was a guest on your show on Saturday, and we're gonna kind of continue that conversation in a little bit different style. So I appreciate your joining us this morning.
Brilliant.
All righty. So who is Serenity Sam? Serenity Sam is a practicing positivist. She is a lover of life, music, art, happiness, and all that is. Serenity Sam is a teacher of the law of attraction. She has a brand new website. Oh, there it is, serenitysam.co.uk. And it just came out a couple of weeks ago. It's a fantastic site. It's got all kinds of great things and tells the story of who Sam is. And so anyway, I think it's a wonderful site already, especially for a brand new site. Congratulations on getting that up and running.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
And she has an active community on Facebook called the Alignment Alchemy, the Alignment Alchemy, the group. Let's see if this is the right. There it is. Yes.
Yay!
Facebook group. So if it's a private group, but just go ahead and reach out to Sam, find Alignment Alchemy, say you want to be a member of it, and Sam will let you in. Or I don't know. How does that work? Is it a private group, or is it how does it work?
It is public, but yeah, I haven't let everyone in who's tried. If I thought there was it wouldn't be to the group benefit, then I've gone, I'm not sure. But everyone is welcome as well.
Especially if you're a positivist.
Yeah.
If you want to come in and be a negativist, go find another group for that.
You got to start somewhere.
That specialize in that sort of thing.
It's a bit like asking people with alcohol problems that they got to be sober when they walk into AA, though. It has to be said.
All right. Well, very good. So anyway, welcome back, Serenity Sam, to the American Gumption Morning Show. Thanks for joining me this morning, and thanks for having me as a guest on Saturday. I had a lot of fun on your show. And let me just before we get into that, let me just share this. Let's see. Is this? Oops. Let's see. Is it showing up? I don't see it on my screen, but
I saw Alignment Alchemy on Saturdays. Sam's
is that it? It's not showing. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So this is Serenity Sam show, Alignment Alchemy. It broadcast on Saturdays at 12 noon Eastern time and 5 p.m. in the UK, which is where you're located. So that was the show that I was on this last Saturday, and I invite everybody to sign up so that you get the notices when they go live on Saturdays, 9 o'clock on Pacific time, US, and 12 noon on the Eastern time zone. And if you're in Japan, you'll have to figure it out yourself what time it goes on. So. All righty. Yeah. So, well, good. Well, that was a fun show. And what we did on that show is you invited me on, and we talked a little bit about what we were going to do, but you came up with the idea of the big dream. And I kind of said, oh my gosh, I have my own big dream. Maybe I should share that with everybody. And, that's what happened. You invited me on, but then you surprised us, and you did your own reveal and your own big dream. So wanted to. So tell us about how that all happened and why you thought this was a fun thing to do, first of all.
I think there's just such power in living your dream in the now. And anything that we can do to sort of trick this subconscious mind into accepting our wishes, it really helps bring it into reality. And this is being really researched now these days through science and through all of the people that are talking about self-empowerment, manifestation, about the laws of the universe. And so I thought it's been amazing, fun to try and put a couple of my dreams into a video form, which takes it a lot further than just the vision board, which are great. But I am a visual artist as well, so I couldn't help but let my imagination go wild. And I'm so happy that you felt inspired to do something to yourself, Steve, because it really is wonderful seeing what other people are doing. I think it's very inspirational to just look at what people are doing and then have a crack yourself.
Yeah, no, it was great. And the fact that you had put out the one video that you talked about, and we won't show that one today, but you have a video where you shared your dream of singing your own original music with Esther Hicks present on one of her cruises, on one of the Abraham cruises that happened or will return to happening sometime here in the future. And so that was and then that inspired me to think, well, I can't just show up and, blah, blah, blah. I've got to be prepared. So I prepared a little slideshow, and then I shared that segment with everybody. And then you had your own recorded video that you did. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to play the part where I do the reveal and talk about the dream that I had, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll play the 4-minute version of your next big dream, and I'll leave people in suspense on what that is. Does that sound like a good idea?
That's fabulous. And everybody just remember, these might be our dreams, but you could do this for yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I really do understand and know the power of speaking these out loud, because many times I've had a dream and it's like it's floating around inside of the head. And then one day I actually say it, and everything changes at that point. I spoke it, I heard it with my own ears, but I also said it so that someone else could hear it. So it wasn't just my dream. It became, I put it out into the universe. And that's the power of what this is all about.
And the power of putting pen to paper and the power of speaking is immense.
All righty. Well, let's go ahead and play this. This is about 10 minutes. And then I was longer than I thought, but me, I just keep going and going and going. So let's see if we can do this, and then we'll return in just a few minutes, Sam.
Excellent.
Let's see here. Whoops. So I've got the American Gumption Project vision, or the big dream, as they say. And this is an overview. And what I'm going to do is zoom in on it so you don't have to look too hard to see what it is, but just see that the American Gumption Project is that big cloud up at the top. And then I have 3 different shows that I envision creating. And so now what I'd like to do is zoom in on each of the bubbles, and I'll just say a little bit about each one, and then we'll show that grand vision one more time. So the first one is really what I'm calling the American Gumption Project. And that's the overview. And you can see the 3 little lines going out, and they go to each of the 3 different shows that I'm envisioning. And as of today, only one show is real, and that is real for the last 6 months, and the other 2 are still yet to come. So this is the power of speaking things out into the public, because they become much more powerful once we do that. Now, one of the taglines that I grabbed very early on was ordinary individuals living extraordinary lives. And I believe that we are all ordinary in many ways, and yet we all have the ability to be extraordinary. And so I had the vision a year and a half ago of just meeting regular, normal people who were doing powerful things in their life. And the American Gumption vision, as it was originally imagined, was I was going to go out and live in an RV for the next 4 to 7 years and travel around the United States. And I was going to meet these people and interview them and tell their story.
Yeah.
And the reason why I wanted to do this was that I was watching the news one day, and all of the breathless excitement about what the news was being reported, it was all pessimism, and it was all negativism, and it was all fear-based ideas. And I just realized that the way I lived my life was nothing like what I was hearing on the news. And then I thought about the people that I interacted with day in and day out. None of them were living like everything that they were talking about on the news, as if it was so important, had no bearing and effect on it. So my goal at that moment became to share optimism, positivity, and encouragement for people, because I think we all need more optimism, positivity, and encouragement. We do not need more fear and negativity in our lives.
You got that straight, mister.
So then, as I said, 1 year ago, or 6 months ago, I started the American Gumption morning show, and partnered with Spirituality Gone Wild and been with them ever since that. And my show is Monday through Friday. It's a live broadcast here on the Spirituality Gone Wild channel and also on the American Gumption Facebook and YouTube page. And it just goes live from 10 to 11 Eastern time. I think that's 3 o'clock over in the UK. And this year, my goal is to do 200 shows during the year. So about 4.5 shows per week on average.
Wow, I love.
Now, this was the original American, this is the next show that I'm showing here, the American Gumption We the People show. And this was the original idea that I had a year and a half ago before I started the virtual show that I'm currently doing. And this was going to be produced video interviews with people as I traveled around in my RV showing and meeting them all. So this portion has gotten put on hold as we've been in a situation where it's not really safe or practical to be traveling around, and so it kind of worked out perfect, Serenity Sam, that I was able to start the show virtually. That I didn't even know that was part of what my vision was. It just sort of happened, and now I'm seeing a way that they can be with each other, they can coexist, and they can actually be supportive of each other. So the We the People show is my working title for the traveling around and doing these produced video interviews. And finally, I think that it could be a bit of a variety show or a virtual reality show, kind of a part travelogue. I show the outtakes and the fun little things that happen behind the scenes. And so I'm imagining this third show. And all of these things coexist with each other and share and feed off of each other. And the idea is I'm out traveling around in the country in an RV. And if you look at that one blue box in the middle, it says Gumption across America and around the world. So the backstory is I was the Forrest Gump impersonator for Bubba Gump Shrimp for 15 years. I developed a motivational speaking message, and Gumption was my term, my word, and that's how it became American Gumption. So all these things have morphed together and brought together in the last 10 years. And I just am excited to, see all these things come into the reality. Now, I'm smart enough to know that these things don't happen by myself, and I will need some partners, and whether they're business partners or sponsorship, that again will all be figured out, and that's part of this sharing with it. But I want to use the same format and give you a little more detail. And if you see the 3 boxes, I'm going to zoom in on those, and then there's 2 boxes down below, and I'll throw them in as extras. But the 3 across the top, they are message, production, and distribution. They're how these shows are going to come into reality. So, so this is just the partners, again, the 5 different segments going off. But the first one is message. And one of the most important things, Serenity Sam, is that there's an ideological alignment with what Gumption and my ordinary and extraordinary individuals, that whole message has to, all the partners are going to share in the vision, with that. And then production is where I'm going to need the most help. People who have much more know-how and resources to make this reality. The editing, it's I know a little bit about all these things, but mostly what I love to do is actually meet and interact with the people. So I'm going to need to, attract different production people behind the scenes to make it all become a reality. And then the distribution, the channels, where is it actually going to be broadcast, and how do we market all this? Again, I have ideas on all those things, but to do these by myself, I'll need a team. And of course, Spirituality Gone Wild has been with me from the beginning, and they're working on the idea of production and distribution. So it could just be that it'll all happen that way, or maybe it'll be something else. We don't know how this is all going to unfold. We have ideas, but we can't be so committed to the outcome other than the big picture. And so that's all I'm attempting to do today, is share with you the big picture. Now, the RV is so important. It's like a cool idea. And you can see I've got some logos on there to show.
Yeah, I love it.
And I'm just seeing this big billboard just driving around the country, shopping and spending a week here or there and sharing. And then, actually having it as a studio that I'm going to show you about. And the last thing I want to share, and this is where I'm really going out on a limb, is I've been a lone wolf my whole life, and I'm going to find a I'm going to find a partner, a woman to share my life with, and she's going to share the same vision that I have. And it's not like I'm going to drag her into my vision. She's going to have her own vision, and somehow we're going to co-create this whole, it's going to be a part of whatever, the piece that she brings to it, and the piece that I bring to it with the American Gumption vision. And we're going to, again, bring a lot of love and joy to the world and share with people this message. So that is exciting to think that that's going to unfold. So, so that's it. That's the vision, that, like I said, the 3 production type pieces to make the shows, and then the RV, whether it's a specific sponsor that way, or possibly I'm, partnered with a brand to work with them. I don't know how this is going to happen, but somehow we're going to come together. And of course, the person to share my life with is all going to happen also, because this will be a lot more fun sharing it rather than doing it by myself. So So the last couple of slides, and I'll go quick, is this is the inside of an RV. It's not mine, but imagine that couch that's there being removed. And now what we have instead is some kind of like a studio. Now this is a TV studio. It won't be quite this fancy, but imagine the idea is that you have a couple chairs and you can move things around and rearrange them, and the lights are attached, so you have it, and you have cameras, so you can set this all up and make this thing work on a fairly easy basis. Maybe I do a one-on-one interview. I do the morning show live with a guest right in they come to the to the RV, to the bus, and they sit in my own traveling studio. Or maybe 2 people, so you have 2 people and 1 person. Different formats, different. And of course, you need some basic camera equipment. That's all being assembled in terms of what types of things I'll need and
fabulous.
And all
so
that,
good.
and then the production, whether I have some kind of basic stuff of my own, but maybe the production team we upload it to them, and then they take care of it after that. And then lastly, this is how in the olden days you used to see the news people go out, and they had the van and the big antenna up and tell. Well, now you just have a little portable thing that connects to the wireless tower, and you can upload 4K video, broadcast quality, that sort of thing. So that is my big dream, and I'm so grateful that I was able to share that with you and put it out there. There it is, Serenity Sam. There was the big dream. Took 10 minutes for me to get through that. Thanks for letting me go through that on Saturday, and we just replayed it. And I guess I just ask you, what do you have to say about all that?
The thing that is just so good about it is to especially recognize your moments of joy. Like, I don't know, for me, and of course you have your own opinion about it, but when I especially saw the vehicle, and we talked about the billboard aspect of it, and there's just something that I felt the joy leap at that moment in time. And even though there's all of this other stuff, and I know it's very technical and I get it and it's interesting, I feel that the moments that your heart leaps, and it might be something really, it seems very small, but it is actually the key to really expanding on this dream and this joy, because it's these little snapshots of an emotional connection that are going to just be the thing that really propels it forward.
Yeah, no, it was fun. As I was watching it, I realized that there were certain things that I said, and I kind of got nervous because I went, "Oh, I haven't quite said that before in public." So I sure appreciate it. Half of it I had been talking about in public, but I added some extra details, and I tried to be concise in the way that I did it. And it already is making me think about, well, how can I take that vision and now further expand it and elaborate it and fill in more of the details and feel the completion of it, or feel the joy of it being completed prior to it, be prior to it physically being reality. And that is the law of attraction at work. And that is the way it works. And that's what you teach. And so I understand it. I'm still working. I'm a student. And,
we all are. We all are. And I would love to encourage you to go further in as well and really revel in the daydream of this and really pick up on the moments that would just make you feel just wonderful inside. And let it be just such a happy process, the whole thing, daydreaming about it, getting into some detail, imagining what it would be like, imagining the people you meet, imagining this woman holding your hand, simple little things. It's not even these big things. It's this woman holding your hand as you walk across a campsite. It's these little, they seem insignificant, but when we daydream on them, they are actually the rocket fuel that is going to really pull it out of your imagination and into reality.
Well, thank you for being my own not my own personal teacher, but kind of like my own personal law of attraction teacher. But you're not just teaching me; you're teaching other people. So please go to Sam's website and join her Alignment Alchemy group, Facebook group, and you'll be able to benefit from these same kind of teachings that I've been benefiting from. So now let's go ahead.
It's all co-creation, just so I like to say co-creation.
Exactly, so co-creation. That's
we're
right.
all friends. We're friends within it, like absolutely and totally. Like I just love to be someone's cheerleader who's willing to do the work. And I love to be the guide, and I love witnessing the results.
All righty. Well, are we ready to share your reveal?
Yeah.
All right. Let me go ahead and let's see if it's going to work. I think, here we go.
Is to be able to articulate how to get into alignment with source energy and be able to correct myself and my thinking to get into alignment with source energy. Thus, being able to have God consciousness in my mind all through the day and feel the awesome power of clarity. It is my big dream that I'm able to communicate this language to millions of people. Everybody who is destined and who is in the divine plan to hear hears what I have to say. And in such a way where it's unmistakable that the language is from source. And it is the transformation that a person is needing to click into place and begin the process and strengthen the process of living the highest level of love and faith. I really want to bring miracles back onto the planet as an actual thing. I really want to bridge the two worlds of science and spirit and get scientists to start taking the law of attraction seriously and begin the process of inventing new things for our planet, new things for our everyday lives that are rooted in source energy, pure positive energy. It is my personal dream to be able to navigate through the mind and be able to fall back into alignment and very quickly and be in alignment. For all my days on planet Earth, understanding spiritual law, understanding thoughts, turning to things, and mental language, and as well as actual language that humans use, and the power of the law of the word from the individual. I would love to see the world wake up to the fact that what you are talking about is affecting other people and their point of attraction. And every person on planet Earth start taking responsibility for what they say and what they think and where their alignment is. It is my dream that this realization of the power of one force is dominant once again on our planet, and really take it off into this new way of existing with spirit in the human reality.
Wow. That was, you said quite a bit. I have a few notes. You threw out millions of people you want to affect with this. The combining of science and spirit, making miracles an everyday life on earth occurrence, pure positive energy and connection with source energy, being able to quickly bring yourself back into alignment, that awareness. I love that. I love that. The spiritual world, the thoughts becoming things, everyone taking responsibility. Serenity Sam, you threw out a big dream.
I did. And it is my dream. And, the thing about the million thing is that I've always valued the absolute joy of making an influence on one person, but I am getting ready to go for millions.
Wow.
And I feel it's coming. And so I've had to accept that this is being called to me on my path. Of course, it's a crazy thing to even contemplate, but I'm ready. I'm ready to go for it. So I wanted to say it out loud that, when given the opportunity, I will do my very best, absolute best, to talk about alignment on the right platforms at the right time. It would be my greatest joy to be able to go wham, do a big thing. It would just be fabulous. But I really do honor the value in one. I just wanted to say that as well, because that is, one person that has gotten themselves into more alignment with their love and with their own personal power is that you just cannot put any value on that.
Sam, thank you so much for joining us this morning and letting me share my dream, and for you sharing your dream, and for being the positivist.
Can I tell you how it's pronounced?
Yeah, please.
Positivist.
Oh, positivist. Well, good. and because I was talking about my own, positivity, but you're a positivist.
I'm a positivist.
Excellent. Well, this is why we liked each other right from the get-go. We both had pure positive energy working on our side. So
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's always such a joy to talk about this stuff. And I just love what you're doing. And I love your dream. And I totally encourage you to go further.
Well, we're going to do it, and we're gonna be on the journey together, co-creating. Even though we'll be physically separated, energetically we are connected.
Oh, we are so going to meet one day as well in reality. I promise.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to have to say goodbye to you now because Joan of Angels, our very own Joan of Angels, is coming up and joining us for her monthly segment that she does here. And I'll just throw this out. We don't have to decide now, but maybe you'll want to do some kind of a regular segment, a reoccurring segment with the American Gumption Morning Show. So think about that. We'll figure out if that works for us.
Yeah. I love this three-way co-creation as well. It's so fun.
All righty. Well, we'll talk to you the next time. Thank you, Serenity Sam. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, there we go. We're going to keep going, shifting gears. We're going to get ready to bring our very own Joan of Angels on board here. And I'm clicking the buttons because I have a special welcoming song to bring her. We don't just say, "Hey, Reverend Dr. Joan of Angels, welcome to the show." We play the theme. Hello, Reverend Dr. Joan of Angels. Welcome to the American Gumption Morning Show for our monthly Miracles, Angels, and Gumption segment.
You have got my wings going, Guy. Whoa. I love you too.
How are you doing this morning? We are, so we just were in the UK visiting with Serenity Sam, and now we're on the West Coast visiting with Joan of Angels. You got up early to join us. Thank you so much.
I swear I was up last night waiting for the show. I get so excited that I kind of do it ahead of time, and it's as if it's been complete. So we've already done the show, and it was fantastic, just so you know.
Well, then let's go ahead and let's just complete what you're going to do this evening at 7 p.m. Pacific time. You're going to have Shaman Isabella, and she's going to talk about detoxing the mind, body, and spirit.
Yes, she is. And she's also going to talk about how, like, the negative energies can creep in and you don't even know it. And that we're going to share an encounter that she and I had when I invited her to my house. But my wording was like, stay away. So that's how we're going to start. And it's a beautiful entry to detox body, mind, spirit. She's she's just an amazing being.
I know Shaman Isabella because I've had her on the show twice already. And I have you to thank for it, because the day that you came on the show for the first time back in December, Shaman Isabella reached out to me afterwards and said, we have to talk. And we did. And so she joined. So indirectly, you are the one who introduced us, although we didn't wait for you to introduce us. She just introduced herself.
Well, that's the cutest thing. That I know she's following my work because I've seen her a few times. And she said to me after my last 2 shows ago, "Oh, after I was on your show," that's right, she reached out to me to ask to be on my show. So that's great. She's a good example of really walking your talk. And when you resonate, you reach out to collaborate and dive right in, which is the theme of this year.
Absolutely. So since this is your segment, what do you want to share with the audience this morning? What are you what kind of miracles or angels or gumption do you want to bring to us?
I get back to the course of freedom, inner truth, and letting go of everything that stands in our way of hearing truth. and being able to I use something that I teach in all my classes, Steve, called the discernment scale. Okay, I've had lots of names for it. I finally came up with the discernment scale, which is kind of like having a scale of 1 to 10. On the left is 0, on the right is 10, full power, on board, go stream ahead, full steam ahead. And the discernment scale gives us an opportunity to see where we are in our life. So checking in on an energetic scale, on vitality, and it's an opportunity for each and every one of us to say, okay, how open am I for transformation on a scale of 1 to 10? How open am I to receiving wellness or health or new things, new thought? And so as we bring in positivity and freedom, we first look inside of ourselves and say, okay, how open are we to actually receiving new information? How open are we to really making that life shift? And if not, of course, then you're going to tune in tonight, because we're going to clear away everything that keeps you from being open. And that's actually probably one of the things we'll be doing tonight. But that is the theme of the month for me, is clearing away what keeps us from shining our brilliance. And I did a wonderful weekly message report yesterday, just dived right into this theme of just clearing away and shining our brilliance. Our brilliance. So February is the month of brilliance. It's the month of love. I wrote a wonderful article about love is the greatest miracle of all, because it's beyond. It's just that feeling of beyond all thought, beyond all reason. So, for instance, like having a baby, the moment, there's so much pain as you get up to that moment of the actual delivery. And the second that delivery happens, it's all memories completely wiped out of any pain, and only joy remains. But joy and brilliance. And if we could live our life with that brilliance, allowing our light to shine, allowing it inside, that really is one of the messages of today.
I love the idea of discernment scale that you mentioned. I've tried to reflect on things that have occurred in my life, and as I've done my transition, I tried to reframe things, and that's what you're talking about, rewriting memories. We have a choice of how we want to remember things, and so does the mother of an unborn or a newborn remember the actual pain of birth, or the miracle of a new life? And of course, it's the miracle of the new life that is a more positive thing to reflect on. And I believe we have that freedom to choose everything that happens in life and rewrite it in a way that serves us and benefits us and keeps us moving forward, as opposed to stuck in the past.
Yes, which gets us, and I always love to say that the past, the future associated with the path you didn't take, say, if you really look at how do I shift my thinking and how do I look at things, you can see the twists and turns of almost every decision that you made. And each new decision brings a whole new future and a whole new opportunity. So if this morning, all of you with us made this decision that today was the day you were going to turn on your light, which is a decision. My light is turned on. My light shines bright. My light always shines bright. And that's a decision. When I leave my home, I turn my light even brighter within me.
You have cards.
I do. I have my Oracle deck. You can get them on my website, joanofangels.com. They're the Masters of Miracles. And, the graphic, the design of them came from Debbie G. She took 44 of my paintings and we put them on cards. And then the messages, they danced through the night for days until I got the cards out. But yes, so these are the miracle messages from the Masters of Miracles. So I use them all the time, because they're portals each of the pieces that I paint is a portal into another realm. So,
were you thinking of pulling a card and sharing it? Because I have one more. I still have someone who's in the back room who might want to join us, and maybe you want to share. Can I bring Sam on with us?
Yes.
There she is.
Sam, you know your new video has all the essence of bringing it together, and to be able to take these radical concepts, my love. You know, I'm an oracle for all. Notice you two have S in your name. I love that. You both start with S. But to take such advanced concepts, not only to find imagery, but wording, okay? And I get that is a piece of film in the making as you learn more. And oh my God, I have a friend who did a film that you're going to love. It's that famous film with Dr. Wolf in it. Oh God, sometimes my memory was one of the first of its kind. When the name comes to me, I'm going to hook you up with her. But yes, complex serenity. Anyway, and when I pulled this card, Steve said, do I have a card? And then we're going to pull on serenity. I laughed inside because the card made me think of you.
I love your cards.
Okay, so I was thinking in my head, I wonder if Steve, if I could read this for Sam. Thank you. This is Wonder Woman. Okay, and this is the energy for all of us this month. You know, freedom, release our brilliance, develop our gifts. You are unique, and we can have it all. You can have it all. And Steve, you can be Wonder Man. It's all good. Okay, we're the universal human, but really to be that being that's brilliant, that's light, that shines in the world, and be that leader. This is for everyone, to be that person you've always wanted to be. Like, take off blinders, take off all that covering and wrapping, and go. And so, Serenity, you are leading the way, hon. But
it's a blessing and a half, isn't it? And just to be in the orbit of everybody and their beautiful energy, you just couldn't dream it up even better than what it is in some ways. And then it gets better again.
Now I picked a card to kind of reflect Steve's energy. All right. And this is Archangel Michael. And I love that. Steve, this is about, for you, removing all obstacles. And I know I didn't hear the first part of the show, but I kind of know that you're in a transition or transitioning and letting go of, and this is the theme of shining our brilliance, which was yesterday's channeling I did, but removing obstacles, keep clearing the way. You know, we all have the opportunity to use a sword, an energetic light sword, Archangel sword, to clear away anything that doesn't serve. And Steve, you have a beautiful way of doing it for all of us. In your simple way, you know, you just do it for us. As Forrest Gump, you know, is that being that's you, part of you too. You make it okay to be ourselves. So, and guys, when I read these cards, it's not just for Serenity or Steve. It's really in a general. This is for each of you who tuned in. It is by divine plan. You're here in this exact moment that I'm here, and that Serenity and Steve are here. So, you know, each of you can relate to that part, and I love it. It's sort of like the male, female, the strong, divine.
And I want you to know, Joan, that Michael is a name that I chose as a confirmation name for myself when I was 11 years old, and I was able to choose that name. My mother gave me the option. It wasn't something that she picked out. My birth name was picked out for me, but Michael was a name that I adopted as part of my legacy. So there are no coincidences.
And Steve, I really think you are such an angel. I just love your spirit. I just connect with it so deeply. I just think you're just an absolutely wonderful, strong, and clear human being. So I just wanted to pipe up and say that in your corner as well.
Thank you so much. This has been fun. I'm honored to be part of the Spirituality Gone Wild family and to have be able to be hanging out with Serenity Sam and Joan of Angels on a regular basis. This is healthy for me. It's healthy for all of us, and it's healthy for people who want to come and be part of our community. We're a growing community, and there's more and more good things thanks to Debbie G leading the way, creating abundance for all of us and for all of the people out there. So it's really an exciting time to be part of this group.
Really is.
All righty, well, good. So, Joan, I'm going to say goodbye to Serenity Sam, then I'll say goodbye to Joan, and then we'll wrap up this show. So thank you, Sam, for joining us this morning. And thank you, Joan of Angels. What is your last message? And I do want to, let's go ahead and remind people to wear the tune in tonight. They will go, there we go. Look at that. Detox the mind detox the mind, body, and spirit with Shaman Isabella on the Joan of Angels Miracle Maker Show, 7 p.m. Pacific time. That's tonight. What's your last message, Joan, for folks that are watching this morning?
Shine your brilliance. Remember who you are. And get the Miracle Messages deck. You'll love it.
Perfect. You can go to the joanofangels.com website to find that. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Joan of Angels. We'll see you next month. All righty. Well, that's great. What a fun show today was. I appreciate Serenity Sam joining. I appreciate Joan of Angels joining. Maybe we'll have to have Serenity Sam come back on a regular basis like Joan of Angels does. Who knows? I'll have my agent talk to her agent, and if we can work out a deal, we're going to make it happen. All righty. So that's it. So let me just tell you what's happening the rest of the week. Tomorrow, Angie LaRue returns. We're going to continue the story of her fantastic spiritual awakening, the 2x4, the spiritual 2x4 that she got. She doesn't recommend it, but it's what happened with her. Wednesday, Nikki Roscoe returns again to the big friend of the American Gumption show. First-time guest, Malika Paranosik, is joining us on Thursday. And that's going to keep us busy for this week. All righty, folks. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you all tomorrow.